How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm very, very, very fine. You look terrific.
You look tall. You are much taller than I thought.
People don't know that I'm well over. I'm like close to 9 feet tall. I come out just before the show to say hi to the audience, and they often shriek in horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, first of all, it's always weird to be here because of the Letterman show was here for so many
That's right.
years.
It was in this same studio.
And these vibes are here. These vibes are here to help me tell
Yeah.
stories. All right, let me think. One story I know, because I don't have a lot to tell you right now, but a friend of mine went to this wedding recently. Mm-hmm. And the bride and groom were walking down the aisle, and it was a big wedding with 500 people and a tent and everything. And when the priest said, "Is there anyone here who sees reason for this man and woman not to be united? Please raise their hand now." So the groom turns around, raises his hand, and says, "I do. Everybody reach under your seat." So everybody reaches under their seat, and they pull out a photograph of the bride having sex with the best man. Do you like that story? I kind of like that story.
This is the best episode of Rolanda we've ever done. This is, I gotta say, that's amazing.
That's Rolanda.
She's one of those talk show daytime people. Well, wait, is really this guy? What a dramatic thing to do.
It's a fabulous thing. I mean,
Well,
can you
what's
imagine staying
humiliating
up
for
all night,
him? It's humiliating for him.
pasting those pictures under the thing all night?
I'd like to be the guy in the photo lab, you know? I would like to be that guy at the Kodak photo shed. I want 500 of these. All right.
Okay.
I need.
So that's a story that I have, and I don't know where that's going or why it's here.
No, that was incredible. I think that shocked everybody. I think that was sufficient.
It's an excellent story.
That was terrific. What a great.
Were they all just copies of the same shot, or was it like an action series?
That's like if they all got together.
Yeah.
If everyone got together afterwards and put them in order and ran them by.
Story.
Yeah. Put a little fuzz bass on it.
It was just the one picture, and the guy was like very angry, and he was mad at this woman. So
That is such a cool thing to do. That guy has a lot of guts.
I'm going to do it, I think. I'm going to just go with some guy that's going to have an affair with someone just so I can do that at a wedding. I like this.
How are you going to know that this guy is going to have an affair?
Oh, because they all do. I'm sorry, I have to tell the truth wrong here.
Okay. Man, that takes really, no. Guys are great. Guys are terrific.
Really?
Yeah, take it from me. That's my public service announcement for the tonight. Guys, we're terrific.
I think it... Okay, fine.
What? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Yeah, guys are terrific. But I do think this. I think that your generation, you kids that are a little bit younger, my generation, everyone got ruined, the baby boomers, by the feminist movement and all that stuff. So everyone has a horrible time having relationships. They don't know how to have relationships. The younger kids, you get married, you go, okay, I'll accept this, I'll be responsible. But my generation, everyone's nuts. They don't know what's going on. I mean,
wait, are you saying my generation's boring and dull?
No, I'm saying you know how to have relationships, and you know how to respect women, and that women are treated more equally than men. But in my generation, maybe just a little bit older than me, you either become a robot, Stepford wife, or you just have a career and never get married. But don't try to do both, you know.
Right. Well, do you think that because of the '60s movement, everybody, free love and all that turned, that spoiled that generation? So now they can't really commit and go home every night?
This is what I think. I think it was a horrible idea. I don't know whose idea was it.
It wasn't one guy's idea. Hey, I just thought of something. Let's break free the bonds of oppression, all get naked, and have sex for 10 years. Oh, good idea.
It was Frank Gorshin.
Yeah, it was
Frank Gorshin.
I think it was Frank Gorshin.
I was going to ask you something, because speaking of, I'm a TV buff, and speaking of the 60s, they're rerunning now, or they're about to rerun on TV Land, the Sonny and Cher, the old Sonny and Cher show. And you were on that show.
No, I know nothing about that.
Oh, come on. Tell us about the Sonny and Cher show.
Do that to talk show.
Oh, come on. No. I want to hear about the Sonny and Cher show. What was Sonny like? Did you know that he was destined for great things in politics, to become the great...
They laugh at themselves at this. He used to say things like, "This is the tip of the iceberg," and I think, what? But he would. I remember one time we were doing a sketch, and we were in the cast reading before we did it, and it was supposed to be about Sonny's Pizza Parlor. And before he leaves the room, he's supposed to say "ciao." It says on the script. So we're rehearsing, and he says, "Okay, see you later, everybody. Callao." Because that's what it said. It said CIAO on the paper.
Oh, no.
And this man is now in the Senate.
Well, he just is going to avoid that one word.
Okay,
It's,
fine.
and he's all right.
I'm not putting him down. I'm just saying he had trouble reading an Italian word, and he is in fact Italian. So.
Oh my God, that's not, well. What about Cher? What did you know
pretty nice
about What did you know about Cher? I mean, she has crazy wigs on in that old show.
Oh, and probably still does. She had a wig maker there all the time. But as I say, Cher is the same generation as myself, and it's the same kind of thing. I mean, she's had a hard time being a woman in this generation. I think it's easier for the men because, like, Sonny can just go, I'll just keep getting married to these younger women and having kids and stuff. But Cher and I don't know. We're going to be working out in Palm Springs ourselves in a lounge act.
Oh, no.
No, it's true.
I'd like to see that lounge
Would
act.
you?
I'd see that lounge act any day. Yeah, can Andy and I come check it out
Absolutely.
when you guys
on
have
that
it?
show, we did a sketch together, Cher and I. So that'll probably be on these. Please watch it on Nick at Night. It's the biggest thing in my life, okay? No, that's not true. I just did a movie with John Travolta.
Yeah, don't tell us what. It's a movie that's, I guess, going to come out at Christmas time. You work with John Travolta. What's he like?
He's fabulous. He's so wonderful. He came and gave me a massage in my room for about a half an hour. He thought I was a little tense.
Are you sure that really happened? maybe you nodded off for a second. What?
No, it did happen.
I'm saying you could nod off and dream something like that.
He's a very nice guy. He's very funny. He would walk around the set up to all the crew going, "Come see the sexy side of Sears." I don't know what it meant.
What?
I
Wait
know.
a minute. John Travolta is walking around singing the Sears song?
Yes.
That's such a great plug for Sears.
Yeah, it sounds like one of those crazy Scientology things.
Yeah.
No,
That's the first thing they teach you.
Gotta be something about that.
he's just funny. He's just
Why would
funny
the-
and nice. And he's very, very rich, and he doesn't care what we say, so.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a look at him before plastic surgery. That'll show him.
Yeah.
We'll get even with all these big celebrities.
Oh.
No, we love them all.
Yes, we do.
Can I ask you about something? I'm talking about 60s TV, but you were in the Monkees movie Head.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to ask you about that last time. It's one of the weirdest movies ever made. And we were actually looking at it today.
Why?
Because we just screw around a lot during the day. Why work on the show when you can watch TV?
So now that makes about 19 people who have seen the movie.
Yeah, but it's the Monkees. They had their big chance to make a movie, and so they go and they make one of the weirdest movies that anyone's ever seen. It's a very strange. I think Jack Nicholson wrote it.
Yes,
Is
he
that right?
did.
Yeah, and you're in this movie. And what was it like? Were you in awe of the Monkees at the time?
No, I wasn't. I was. What's the opposite of awe? Is it what?
Loathing and disgust, maybe.
Well, I just thought, no offense, but I thought they were like fake Beatles, and that in fact, that's what they were, weren't they?
Yes. Yeah, that was the whole idea. Yeah.
So that's what the movie was like. It was like they tried to copy what was that movie? Now, let me tell you
It's
why.
kind of hard to respect a rock group where no one plays musical instruments, I guess, is the idea. I mean, no one did at the time play an instrument.
Now, I hope this isn't a rude thing to say, but this is very late night TV. But
Yeah.
the reason they said they called this movie Head was because the next year they thought it was going to be such a big hit so they could put in their ads from the people who. Sorry, you can bleep that out. I'm sorry. That's what they did, and that's why they call it Head. I'm sorry, Conan.
No, that's fine.
I don't like that kind of thing.
No! What do you mean I don't?
Don't work blue, babe. Don't work blue.
Yeah, what do you mean? What do you mean I don't like that kind of? It's just my generation where, we work on relationships, we don't get
That's
crude,
true.
we're very
That's right.
normal, that's
I was
all.
like,
Your
well,
generation talks
we
that
went
kind
like
of trash.
That. It was trashy and crazy in 8th grade and stupid.
And you were in Elvis movies too.
Yes, I was.
Were you in awe of Elvis? I mean, he could play his instrument, so.
Well, I was in awe of Elvis, but on the other hand, I thought, I had been a ballet dancer and I'd been on tour with this ballet company, and to dance in an Elvis Presley movies, I'd happened to go to this audition. I thought it was a little bit beneath my station, quite frankly.
Because you were, trained, I guess
Yes,
classically, and they
I
just
was.
had to
And
go
they-
like that
yeah,
in the
that's right,
background,
like
pretty
that.
much, for the whole movie.
So.
And now that is considered in, classic
I know
moves
it
and
is.
everything. They teach that at the institution.
But I thought, it was nice to see Elvis and all that stuff, but I was just as talented as he was. But I was wrong about that. He was very talented.
He's very talented.
He had very dark hair.
You were working in all these strange projects. Who was representing you at the time? Did you have these were all kind of odd, quirky things you were doing.
It was, and there might be a reason for that. Every single person that represented me for that period of time died in a very strange way.
Were they all in like one car? Is it one of those coincidences, really?
Well, it might be because that they were all like in their 90s. I don't know why.
Well, that kind of happens. That's no. All these people I used to know in their 90s are gone now. What happened? I don't get it.
I said, I finally meet someone I like, and they die. Well,
Did you have a crazy old agent or something?
I did happen to get this one agent who would tell me if I would drive him around to the studios when he would pick up the the sheets that tell you what's going to be on the show, who's going to be casting that week, that he would get me in to meet like Daryl Zanuck or different people like that. So I would drive him around, and then he'd say, wait in the parking lot, I'll be right back. He'd go and he'd take all these pictures in, he'd get the breakdowns, he'd come back, and I'd say, well, am I going in to meet Daryl Zanuck? He said, he's a little busy today, but you'll meet him next time. And I never met him.
And he just did this?
He did that. He never gave me gas money. And I went around, and that's when
So he had you just convinced that he could bring you right to the top, and it never happened.
You know, that makes me seem like I'm kind of a bubble airhead person.
What?
When I was young and was driving this man around thinking I was going to meet people this way. But I just was trying to learn, about show business.
We all went through a sort of a phase like that.
It was the school of hard knocks.
I was a complete moron until just like 2 months ago. And then suddenly, yeah.
And now this is it?
This is kind of like mildly stupid. Yeah, now we've got to that. Catch me in a year. Then I'll be just mediocre and everything's going to be great. Well, thank you so much for coming. And let me mention this movie, Michael.
Yes, we did. We
is with John Travolta.
Yes.
And that's coming up in a couple
William
months.
Hurt and Andy McDowell, and that's coming out at Christmas.
Very cool.
And then there's the Yoko Ono story, which I'm starring in.
You're starring in the Yoko Ono story?
Oh, didn't I tell you?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, and you're Yoko?
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Well, let's check that out. I'd see that. And your lounge act with Cher. It's all coming together. All right, Teri Garr, thank you very much. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. We will see you in a moment.